to another perfect bite out here by the highway.
Here we are, Laspadas in a Philly cheesesteak.
Actually, the microphone's right here, man.
Oh, okay.
So hopefully this is going to record all right. Anyway, we are here at Laspadas. Philly cheesesteaks. They do more than just cheesesteaks. They do hoagies as well, which
Pizza steaks, which I just learned is a thing.
And Matt got cheese whiz on his steak. We'll talk about that as we get into the episode.
Had that as an option.
We have a great chef with us. There was so much
positive feedback from the biscuit episode of last week.
Coming in from the great biscuit episode that aired.
Biscuit connoisseurs from all over.
We thought we'd only owe it to Chef to come back with us and enjoy a cheesesteak with us. Welcome back, Chef.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And so, the Philly cheesesteak, dear to my heart, dear to my soul. I mean, is it dear to you, or is it just another?
I love it.
Yeah.
Another what? Another great sandwich? Absolutely.
Another top 5 sandwich.
Oh yeah. And as you can see, I got the cheese whiz. I've always preferred mine with the cheese whiz. Now, I could do the melted cheese, provolone, whatever, and the cheese whiz, which honestly I thought I was kidding, but I'm not knocking them. This looks great. But yeah, this is how I like mine.
And keep in mind that the cheesesteak is dear to my soul. Not only the cheesesteak itself, but Laspadas. Now, we're not doing a Laspadas
No.
episode, but I do have to mention this. John Laspada was great and instrumental in my career when I decided to leave Disney back in the 80s to go and open my own restaurant. And we decided to look around what we wanted to do for food, and we came upon his shop that was down on Orange in Michigan, and we're just blown away by the size, the portions of his food. And back then, I think they only served them as just one size, and that was
one size
really
fits all,
large.
folks.
And so, from the signage, it looks like they established in 1938.
Does it say it here? Tuffy's Auto Service established when?
But we looked in our research. We saw that the cheesesteak was invented, if you will, back in the 30s.
What, 38? 1938?
No, earlier. This place in 38. It was probably earlier.
34, I think. 32.
32.
Wow.
And it was Pat's.
That was Pat's, right?
Yeah, Pat's King of Steaks. They put a guy wanted a piece of steak. They put a piece of steak on a bun. It wasn't until later that the cheese came into the picture, and then
It took a lot of great minds to come up with that idea.
And then we get a lot of whittling away at society, and then we have cheese whiz on this guy's sandwich.
To the uncivilized folk.
there is as much arguments about.
But can we be clear? It's not cheese whiz. It's not. It's a cheese sauce, but they call it cheese whiz. So let's be clear on that.
We're clear. What now?
Are you already eating? I saw you munching.
I just had a fry because it was going to fall. You told me that was a penalty.
Sure.
Anyway, so the cheesesteak. A lot of things go into it. It looks simple, but I always found the bread. Found the bread to be the palette and the canvas in which you write this great sandwich. Now,
by the way,
a cheesesteak is shaved steak, grilled with onions, peppers, mushrooms, whatever you like on it. You tell them what you like, and then they top it a variety of ways and get extra cheese.
we all got different toppings.
Yeah,
we all got our own unique way.
You got mushrooms and what? Onions?
Mushroom, onions, jalapenos.
Jalapenos. You got
mushroom, onions, and then I have white American cheese.
White American. I got white American. There's a lot of arguments. And when I first opened my shop, serving cheesesteaks, 7 years I did. The shop was open 12, BT Grinders. When we first opened, we started off saying we were Philly cheesesteaks. But we had so many people from Philly, oh, it's got to be provolone. Oh, it's got to be white American. Oh, it's got to be cheese
You're going to
whiz.
get that.
So we changed the name within a month or two of opening to BT's Cheesesteaks for that very reason. And this way, if you just ordered it our way, it went one way, and if you wanted
that way you don't need security at your restaurant.
Exactly. You know how those people from Philly can be.
They'll riot.
So they're very passionate. But I really hats off to John Laspada. We're here today outside the one here in Sanford off of 46. Matt Spender one out in You said Altamont?
Altamont, yeah.
And I know they have other ones around the state.
Let's take a bite.
Let's take a bite. This is the Perfect Bite podcast. So
The Philly Cheesesteak.
the Philly Cheesesteak. Let's get in here, guys. Oh, man.
Yeah. Now this is definitely a napkin meal. If you eat this and don't make a mess on your face, I think you're doing something wrong.
Yeah. You get not enough toppings.
Man, guys, come on.
No, this is actually incredible, Tom. This is
Yeah.
really good. This is better than the other one I had.
Bread is good.
Yeah.
It
Has
is.
a nice crunch to
It
it.
is.
I don't-
Soft on the inside.
Uh-huh.
And you know, one thing we always did, and I think he was doing it too, when you're lining up your peppers and your onions and you're grilling them, you lay your roll down. It does get, I think that also toasts it a little bit. I prefer, for me, I know you're not a heat fan,
Not a
but
spicy guy.
I prefer the.
Oh, no?
I'm a cherry pepper guy all the way.
I like flavor, but not so spicy that I have a runny nose and I can't taste anything else.
Matt goes hotter.
I like the abuse.
He's got his merit badge for the ghost pepper chip.
Yep. No, it was the Carolina Reaper. One chip challenge chip.
Oh, the Carolina Reaper. Who does that then?
You did that?
Yeah.
I did.
Was it painful?
It was. It felt a little bit like strep throat in the back of your throat. But, you know, I forced myself to do it without water or milk or anything. I just did it, waited for it to go away, and I was like, okay, I feel like I accomplished it, you know? I honestly, though, I really like spicy food. There is a limit. There is a point where it gets overbearing, but I do love spicy. I do like kind of hitting that line.
Jalapeno poppers is as hot as I want to go.
You know, Chef, he's still young. And the old flapper,
Yeah.
at the next day flapper.
Yep.
As you'll learn about Chef Tom, his obsession with the flapper abuse.
I just know that I'm a little older than Matt, and I take more care of it. That's all I'd
Well,
say.
yeah, once you hit 40, I think they educate you more on that.
Uh-huh.
And the special care that you should be doing.
That's true.
Back to business here.
Man, just a fantastic sub.
Mm-hmm.
And you
So
know,
messy, but so good.
back in the day, I had a big flat top grill. It came out of a McDonald's back when they did them on the grill. And it was just perfect for cheesesteak. And we would, when we first opened up, we didn't have any labor. It was just me and my business partner. One had to work the register and one was cooking. So we took what shortcuts we thought. And you know, we had got some recommendations to go with a flake sirloin. We found out immediately that a flake sirloin, flake steak, whatever you want to call it, if you don't cut it yourself, you get gristle. And we didn't like the gristle that you had to work through, not only eating it, but had to work through on the grill when you were breaking the meat apart. So we made the big decision of ordering in our meat and prepping it all to be sliced. And what you need to do in that process or how we would do it, and you were so great to share during the biscuit episode, your secrets. I want to pass them on to future generations as well. And if people listen to you, they can get the same result, hopefully. And what we did was we took the beef and we trimmed out any silver skin, any massive amounts of the tough fat. It was white, little bit of fat, no problem. Marbling, not a problem. But we trimmed it all out, and then we would line it up with the grain. We would use donut trays, and we would line it up in loaves, and we would temper it in the freezer till it was hard, but not overnight solid hard. And that way, when we went on the slicer, we could get those razor thin, feathery pieces sliced across the grain. And when you got on the grill, it was much easier to work with, and to eat it was tender. And you really could go with lesser cuts because you were doing the prep on it. You know, I know that it's traditionally used ribeye from everything I've read.
Really?
It's traditionally used ribeye.
I know.
We did everything from tips.
Because of the extra fat in it?
I think so.
Steakums? You use steakums?
Not only the fat in it, but the kind of fat, the melting fat. You know, the melting fat when you shaved it lended to the taste.
Well, I wish I could have tried one from there.
Yeah. What we would do is we'd have all our meat cut for like lunch, and when, you know, he lines out the door, you're putting the pile on top of and you're breaking it off as you go.
Oh, okay.
You know, that way you're getting fresh for everybody, but you know, you don't have to keep going in and getting with the raw. You can just go in with your spatulas and pull it off as you go. And just a tremendous way. We didn't, even though John here, he helped mentor us, and you know, when we first got started, we had to learn a lot on our own.
You know what isn't the perfect bite?
What?
You know, when you're in a bind, you're in a time crunch, go to a vending machine, you see the old Philly cheesesteak in the vending machine. That's not the perfect bite.
Heat it up in the microwave.
Yeah, not good. And this bread is really good.
Yeah, it is good.
It's perfect for the sandwich.
I hear people all the time go, I went to Wawa and got a cheesesteak. And I'm not downing that, okay? They figured out how to do something fast. But come on, guys.
No.
Having it grilled like this, the taste of the grill.
Take the time. Get it done right.
Yeah, spend the extra dollar. Come to the right place.
Yeah, exactly.
Always. And that goes for anything. Pizza, anything. Biscuits. You get the biscuit man. That's what you do. It's such a beautiful day here. It's not hot. Blue sky, not a cloud in the sky. The smell of car exhaust. Nothing gets your appetite going more than that.
No doubt. But some of the places that we read about, how many of you have been to Philly to eat a cheesesteak? I haven't.
Never, but in Rochester we had a place called Philly Steakout. And they would do it this way with the chopped steak and mix it all together. We'd have the cheese whiz, we'd have everything you want. And the Rochester, what they're known for is the meat hot. They'd also have that there, which I would throw on there as well. And I know that's not a Philly cheesesteak, but I just love that stuff, and I throw on everything. It's like your giardiniera. Right? If it's there, I'm putting it on. You know?
Right.
And they had a really good Philly cheesesteak, but I will say this one's really good.
You know, me growing up,
Yeah, did you have anything in Milwaukee?
not now they do, you know, everything.
Right,
you know,
right,
but
right,
back
right.
then, no. We had a place called, the first time I ever ate a cheesesteak was from a place called Cousin Subs. And there was a bunch of them in Milwaukee. Cousin Subs. And it wasn't done like the Philly style. It had cheese on it and it had beef on it. But you know, when it's the only thing you've ever eaten, when I would come home from college, I'd have to get one. You know, and it was to me it was good. It doesn't come close to this. You know, ever since having a Laspadas back in the 80s and having my own shop, this is the only thing that really makes me feel like a cheesesteak.
Yeah, boy, this is good.
Have you ever done
good.
other types of meat? Because growing up in Texas, we would have brisket. Brisket was a thing.
Oh, wow.
Man.
So if you did like a brisket sandwich, that type of thing, and almost do a play on the Philly cheesesteak, but using other cuts of meat, I wonder how that would be.
I think it would be fantastic.
Brisket's always good.
Yeah. One of my favorite cuts in the world is a brisket. And you can bet we will have a brisket episode. And,
Where are we going to go to Buc-ee's for that?
Buc-ee's not bad now.
Buc-ee's is a lot of fun.
Have you ever had Buc-ee's?
Yeah, I had it.
It's a lot of fun. Well, in Texas, that's where they're from, right?
Buc-ee's is there, but I mean, it wasn't like the staple part of it.
Yeah.
You get the backyard barbecue, and it's an old oil drum that they've cut in half to make their own smokers.
Oh, yeah. Well, you bring up an interesting point about cheesesteaks, because when you go out, especially to a nice restaurant, and if I go to a nice restaurant for lunch, sometimes you'll see on the menu that they have a cheesesteak sandwich. And you'll get it, and it's nowhere close to this.
Yeah.
It's either sliced steak, which isn't a bad thing.
No. But clearly that's not this place's forte.
Yeah, no.
And I do like the French dip. You know, that's more of a sophisticated cheesesteak type of thing.
Yeah.
The horseradish and everything.
Yeah.
Heats up and you dip it in there.
And of course, which we will have a an hour-long episode for the Italian beef, Chicago Italian. Dear to my heart. Another one where people get it confused with a cheesesteak, especially if you get provolone on it, because it's beautiful sliced beef,
Wet.
with cheese on it if you get it with cheese, but
Jarred there.
but totally different. Having served both on my menu, and they both being my 1 and 2 sellers, more people knew of the cheesesteak
Oh yeah.
than they knew of the Italian beef.
Yeah, the
that
Philly cheesesteak is a household name. for
exactly.
most.
And so our number 1 seller was the cheesesteak. Our number 2 seller was the Italian beef. And
And you made a mean Italian beef, huh?
yeah.
Do you think because it's like that rivalry in Philly who has the best? And that's, I've never heard who has the best, you know,
Right.
I know Michael's.
other this or that, but the Philly is more of that rivalry.
It is.
Everyone knows about Pat and Gino's, whether you've been there or not. Yeah.
Pat and Gino's, yeah. I would have to have one from Gino's and from Pat's.
Are you kidding? Same day.
Uh-huh.
Same day, absolutely. Get that New York style bagel that they talk about. 'Cause
Oh.
it's the water, or the pizza,
Sure.
the
Yeah.
Chicago style, Chicago dog,
Yeah.
you know, Texas barbecue.
What is Florida known for?
Key lime pie, baby.
Key lime
Yeah,
pie.
key lime pie.
And you make a good one, my friend.
I love key lime pie.
Oh, God. Now, I'm not the biggest sweets guy, but boy,
I love it, but I'm
key
one
lime
of
pie is
those
delicious.
like where you put your own twist on things.
Mm.
I love the acidity of the key lime, but I like something sweet with it, like a fresh strawberry or a fresh blueberry.
Oh.
Well,
Even like today when we were looking at the menu, and you had just learned about like what is the pizza?
you mean
yeah.
last month?
No,
we were
Oh,
looking
here.
at-
Oh,
here.
oh, here. Here.
Yeah,
Okay.
looking inside there, it was like you see different things on the menu, and then some purists will be like, no, you don't put tomato sauce in there, but it is how you want to eat it. You know, if you like a meatball sub and you kind of want to make a baby where it's like a meatball sub
Yeah.
mixed with Philly, put the tomato sauce on it. Or the
Right,
gravy.
right.
That's how you find great new creations,
You really-
experimenting.
Right,
Yes.
right. And we would always have people come in daily that would get a pizza steak. And
No kidding, really?
Yeah. And we had the marinara because we were doing, you know, the meatball grinders. So they weren't getting the mix of the meatball on there, but they were getting the sauce mixed into the steak. And then they would ask for mozzarella or provolone. And, you know, you see it go out the window and you're like, I know what I'm having for lunch, and you would have it, and then, you know, you're like, wow, that's pretty good.
One of those touchy subjects is pineapple on a pizza. And I was like, I never tried it. Let me just try it. And that sweet with the salty, I did like it.
Can I tell you what the best was that way? In my last vacation in Hawaii, beautiful crust, beautiful pizza with like almost like I forget the cheese that was on it. It was a great cheese, but it had pineapple and it had Kahlua pork.
Oh yeah.
Come on now,
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
pork with that pineapple on that crust, you cannot argue with it if you're gonna, you know, have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was amazing.
Thanks for inviting me out this month.
Man,
Yeah,
chef,
yeah.
we
Maybe you'll
enjoyed-
join us next week.
And when we go to desserts, because Matt, I just want to warn you, Matt doesn't eat desserts.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest
He's
sweet
not a
guy.
dessert eater, even though he has 103 desserts. That every time I catch him in his hypocrisy, that I find that he does like desserts. He says he doesn't like
Actually, not for
desserts.
nothing. Have you been able to find one I don't like?
Even if you just take a bite. the
I
perfect
always take a bite. That's
Right.
the thing. I may not want a full dessert, but I'll take a bite. I'll take a bite.
Yeah, or shovel. Matt's bites are a little different than most.
Yeah.
But until we meet again, another perfect bite.
Yeah. We'll edit the real sound effect in.